Good morning again, everybody. Welcome back to LilyLuLou. My name's Karen, if you haven't been here before. Very warm welcome to another influx of new subscribers. Thank you so much. And obviously a warm welcome to all my returning visitors. So we're back with Dephemerember and we are on day 4. I'm still playing catch up. And today's prompts are recycled art and a coin envelope. Well, the coin envelope was easy. I think I'll just make a coin envelope. Excuse me, I'm going to have a slurp of my tea. It's first thing in the morning here, so I'm having a nice cuppa. My recycled art element threw me slightly. Now, initially, I thought I could use something left over from my Stamping Up days, you know, a card that I'd perhaps made and hadn't used or something like that. But the problem is all of my sort of paper type crafty bits are still packed in a box in the garage since we moved. And I did go down to try and have a rummage to find something, but the box is underneath a pile. It's right at the bottom of a pile of boxes. So that was a no-no. A, I haven't got time to do that, and B, as I said before, I don't want to be bringing more stuff into the house at the moment. So then I went to my fabric box, which has got lots of unfinished needlecraft projects. So I've just grabbed a handful of things. Now, I mentioned before, I used to go to a needlework class on a Friday morning, and we used to do all sorts of different things. And these are all bits really that are left over from that time. This is just a piece of silk that I was practicing embroidery stitches on. I'm not sure how well that's picking that up, but that's quite beautiful. So I might do, and it's funny looking at all this because Claire at Purple Poppy is doing a stitching advent, and I was saying yesterday, oh, I wish I had time to join in with that, but because you know, stitching takes a bit more time, and as you can see, I'm struggling with this at the moment to keep up, so I can't be doing stitching as well. But I thought maybe in January I might follow Claire's stitching advent and do it as something in January. So these bits might come in handy for that. I've also got, this is where I was practicing some patchwork. So I've got a couple of strips there that possibly I could do something with. This was also patchwork. This is like crazy patchwork, and I don't know if you can tell from that, it was going to be in the shape of an elephant. That was its trunk, because that was going to be a little stuffed toy for my daughter when she was small, and obviously it never got finished. Then I've got these bits that are all tie-dyed calico that I've never done anything with, but these probably will feature in a journal in the new year. Want to do a blue journal, so these will probably feature in a journal, probably on a cover or something. So I've got these bits and pieces. Obviously we were practicing all different techniques with tie-dyeing. And then I've also got these squares that also were going to become a quilt. This is a Japanese form of quilting where you quilt as you go along. So you start off with a circle, then you put a piece of wadding in the circle and your accent fabric. Then you turn the edges of the circle over and stitch it down, so that's then quilted. Obviously these are just tacked at the moment, and then you can put all of these together once you finish to make your quilt. And the reason I started this was because it was something I could carry with me and do wherever I was. I used to do a lot of sitting around in the car waiting for the girls, and I could take a few scraps with me and make a few squares while I was waiting for them. So this is another, obviously you can tell it was for my daughter. It's got elephants in it. This and some of these are very scruffy and would never have ended up in the quilt. I mean, that I would have definitely unpicked and not used, because it's here, it's not straight at all. But I did get better the more I made because I was practicing, so it's all good. And all of these are just tacked, so they can be taken apart. And obviously once that was stitched properly and the tacking removed and it was all joined together, the back would all be quilted as well with this these arches, which would make, you know, little oval shapes when they were all joined together. So I've got those as well. This is Bugs in Jars. Some fairies, obviously Winnie the Pooh made an appearance. So I've got those. So I'm not sure what I'm going to use. I've got to make a coin envelope. Now, straight away I'm thinking that this would look quite good on the front of a coin envelope. But I've got lots of these to use up. Could I do something with those? Let's have a look at our animals as well and see if we get any inspiration. And what are we on? Number 4. We can cut our number out, so we've got that ready. Oh, that's easy. It's right up in the top corner. So we can pop that out of the way. So we've got butterflies and a bear. We've got the peacock, the penguin, the snail, a fish, an owl, a monkey, kangaroo and a partridge, a giraffe, a hamster, a moth, a hedgehog, a seahorse, a turtle, a toucan, a raccoon, a bumblebee, a dragonfly, an elephant and a bird. Well, I think we might go with the elephant. Maybe we could do something with this. These have got butterflies on. The dragonfly would work with that. Got 2 elephants, 3 elephants. Or maybe we could make a fabric coin envelope. That would be too floppy, wouldn't it? Right, so I'm going to have a think. Bear with me. Right, I think what I'm going to do, I want to make this into a pocket on the page. And if I hadn't already put this journal together, I probably would have stitched this onto the page with my machine. But my journal is together. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to mount this onto a piece of card and stitch it. Then I can get rid of all this tacking. And then I will stick the whole thing onto there as a pocket. That will be my recycled art. Then I'll make a coin envelope to go in the pocket and do something with this this chap here, this elephant, I think. So I'm just going to go and stitch this. I'll be back in a moment. Right, my machine had a bit of trouble for some reason going through all of these layers and this junk mail flyer that I was going to use for the backing. So in the end, I've just stitched, obviously I pulled the back off there. You can see where I had a couple of issues. So I just pulled that off and I carried on stitching around the edges of the circle, and now I'm going to just glue this on as a pocket and hope that it holds. So I'm just going to pop some fabric glue around the 3 sides of that square, of that patchwork square. If my glue decides to come out, get near the bottom of the bottle, so it's bit hit and miss. So that's that, and I'm just going to spread that a bit with my fingers so that it actually sticks and doesn't just ooze out. So I'm getting nice and messy here. Sorry, I know I'm off camera, I'm just on my glue book at the side of me. Right, okay, let's get this down here and hope I can remove the excess glue afterwards. I'm making a bit of a mess there. Very sticky. So I hope everybody is well and happy and managing to find some crafty time in this busy time of year. Right, so that's the pocket down. Obviously I need to leave that to dry. So now I want to make a coin envelope to go in the pocket, and I found this in my you saw me yesterday rummaging through my folder of papers, so I thought I would fold this into a coin envelope. Obviously I'll need to cut it down to the right size, so it needs to be about there. My prompt list is falling in the way, so when that's down in there, that should be okay. And then we're unfortunately going to lose the postcard words at the bottom, but that can't be helped because we need a flap at the bottom. I'm probably going to lose most of that image as well, to be fair, but let's see what we can do, whether we can rescue or save any of that. So that's our rough coin envelope. Obviously that's going to need to be folded a bit straighter. So let's try and get that folded. It does look straight on here. We can remove some of this excess. Now obviously we're not going to need the flap to be quite as big as that. So I'm just going to chop that off on the chopper, otherwise I won't get a straight line. Right, I just straightened up my page edges on the chopper. I've cut what is going to be the envelope flap down, And then I've gone over my folds on the scoreboard just to make sure I can see them and that they are actually straight. So this part is going to be my flap. So I do not want these pieces on the corner. So I'm going to cut those off first of all. And I am going to tidy these. I'm going to round corners and mitre. I'm just literally removing this for now so that we know what we've got. And then on the bottom edges, this is going to fold over, this is going to fold over to make our envelope, and then this front bottom piece is going to fold over to close the bottom. So again, we don't need these two edge pieces at the bottom, so I'm just going to snip those off as well for now. Right, I'm just going to refold this on my score lines to make sure it's all working okay. I'm just trying to make sure I fold on the score lines, not on my original lines. Then I know that everything is straight. That is not straight. This one doesn't seem to want to fold on the score line for some reason. Straight, that's better. So now I'm just deciding what I want here. I'm going to trim those down a little bit more, and then I think I will, once I've stuck it together, I'll use my circle punch to cut a notch out of there, and I'm going to straighten this up, and then I will round the edges of the flap. Excuse me. Then at the bottom here, I'm just going to shape this slightly so that it folds better. And just cut along my score line there, just to try and make sure it's all neat when it's folded. So now made a bit of a mess there. Fold up there, this will fold down here. I'm just going to take a sliver off of that one. I think the other side's okay. Find my corner rounder so that we've got a nice neat edge for the flap. Like that. And right, let's stick that down. I'm going to put a little bit of glue along here and a little bit of glue along here, but we want to be careful that we don't get glue seeping here, because then we'll seal the envelope and we won't be able to get anything in there. So I've got glue along this edge and glue along this edge, and I'm just refolding that along that score line, and then I'm going to glue this part to close the envelope. And then I want to find my big circle punch. This is, I think it's 2.5 inches. It does say on here somewhere, 2.5 inches. And this is a Stampin' Up punch, but obviously you can use any circle punch. And I'm hoping that that will fit in there for me to do a big notch. I didn't want to do it before I closed it because of lining it up, you know, when it's 2 pieces. So I'm going to pop that in there. And then we've got a nice notch there. So that's our coin envelope. Can't pick anything up. So let's do a little bit of ink in. That might need a little bit more glue under there in a minute. Ink pad. Now, I still haven't decided what I'm going to do with my elephant picture for today. I think that needs to fold down slightly more. Right, so that's going to live in there. And we need to do something with Mr. Elefante, as my daughters would say. Now, if I can fussy cut him, he may well stand on here. So let's give it a try. My fussy cutting yesterday wasn't really successful. Well, it wasn't really fussy cutting, was it? Because I left a big border with the flamingo, so I didn't cut his legs off. I'm hoping this will be a little more successful. and will look all right. Yeah, I struggled a bit with the recycled art because I feel like whatever you do in junk journaling is recycled art, because we're recycling materials. You know, we use things that would otherwise have been discarded, and we're making art with those things. So to me, that is recycled art. And even when you're using something like a digi, which is a new item, you are using it to make something else, so it's still recycled to me. But I felt like that was too easy to just say, well, everything I'm using is recycling. You know, I use, as you know, I use my envelopes that come through the mail. I always reuse those in my journals. I use junk mail flyers, you know, all those adverts that come through the door unsolicited, all get used in my journals. And anything that I can't use in my journals, you know, like them magazines the local council sends and things like that, I use those as glue pages. So everything, you know, even though I do incorporate new things in my journals, and some people would argue that they're not junk journals because it's not entirely made of junk, in my eyes it is all recycled in one form or another. So now his little tail is going to be a bit iffy here. Ooh, that's very thin. Yeah, so, but I thought that was too easy to say, well, everything's recycled art, so I don't need to worry about that. I did think I had to make a bit more effort, do something a bit more than just say, oh, it's all recycled. So I hope that using my, you know, things from my needlecraft stash, unfinished objects, will fit the criteria. But then again, you know, it's all our own interpretation of all these things, isn't it? That's the fun thing about prompts. What the people that come up with the prompts may have a completely different idea of what you're going to do than what you come up with. So he is hiding the cows a bit, but I think he looks quite nice on there. So I'm going to put Mr. Elefante on there. Try not to chop his tail off. Actually, I'm just going to I'm just dabbing the ink over him to try and cover the edges, because I feel like I'm going to knock something off if I try and I'm just trying to make sure there's no obvious white. Now his end of his little trunk there is a bit pointy, so I'm just literally snipping the corners off just to round them slightly. And I'm going to pop him down there. I'm not going to faff about today with trying to find anything to go behind him, because we've got this image behind. I know there are cows behind him, but he's just having a stroll through the herd of cows, as you do. So I'm hoping he's glued up enough. He's wandering through. Morning. Wandering through the cow herd. So that's him on there. I actually like the way that's left as well. That I'm going to stick that on there. I'm going to cut the white up and I'm going to stick that on there. So he's got to go in there. I feel like we forgot. Oh, we haven't popped number 4 on, have we? So let's cut number 4 out. I don't know if I'll have time to do another video today to try and catch up. I need to go back to my daughter's today. She has a hospital appointment. And then this afternoon, my granddaughter has a little play at school. She's well enough to go in today, so that's good. So I shall be hopefully going to watch that. And I imagine by the time I get home from that, it'll be time to think about dinner and things. So I don't know if I'll get another video. I'll be able to squeeze another one in today. But hopefully I can do a couple tomorrow and get a bit more caught up. But as I say, I don't really mind if I don't get these done, you know, on time and finish along with everybody else. And I'm assuming that Louisa and Barbara won't mind if we don't stick exactly to the days. But I am enjoying doing it, so I do want to do all the prompts because it does make you sort of think. Again, I'm just trying to get rid of any white here on the edges of this without damaging my little pointy bits. So let's glue up number 4. Oh, I just had an idea. If I'd have stuck this number 4 onto a piece of card, I could have put it on the back of here as a closure. Right, where am I going to put this? Should I put this up here? Yes, I think I will. Like a stamp. So that's, have we done what we're supposed to do? We have recycled art, we have our coin envelope, and we have our animal. So we have done what we were supposed to do today. So thank you very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that. I will be back probably tomorrow now with the next video. So in the meantime, have a good day, look after yourselves, and enjoy your own crafty time. Bye-bye.